one of the things I try and do, just because I think your contacts will find it interesting, but likewise, I also just enjoy the conversation, is that do you mind if we go through your journey? So that you said you grew up in Mexico?
Yes, of course. Well, I was born in Monterrey, Mexico, which is northeast of Mexico. It's a big city, 8 million people, industrial. There is a lot of manufacturing there. And I am an only child from a very working class family in Mexico. I was the first person to go to university in my family. My parents didn't have that opportunity. So they encouraged me to dream, to work hard, to explore different things. So I decided to study engineering. And I suspect, if I am completely honest with myself, I think I studied engineering because looking at my environment and looking at the fact that the possibilities of getting a job in Monterrey by studying engineering were higher. I think that's where I based my desire to study engineering. It evolved and very quickly, and I can tell you that story because it's an interesting story. But that's why I decided to study engineering. I went to a university in the city. Normally, there are 5-year degrees, engineering degrees in Mexico. So very soon I met friends, different people from different backgrounds. One of those friends, Rosie, had many siblings. I was an only child. She had 7 siblings. When one of her siblings, Oscar, he had an accident. He broke his neck when he was 20 years of age. And when I met him, he was already in his late 20s. He had lost mobility from his neck down, and he only had movement of his left hand. And believe it or not, Steve, at the time, I hadn't met any people with disabilities. Maybe because in Mexico, people don't sort of look after their family so much that you don't see them around as much as you do here in the UK. So I met Oscar, and Oscar was very good to me because he helped me understand disability in a way that I had never understood disability. And also, that family in general were very inspirational to me. And the same way you are talking about me helping shape your life to some extent by that module, they shaped mine. I remember seeing Oscar using a hand brace, and it was made by their family, by his family, with various multiple things. But we're talking about 30 years ago, that long ago. And I was fascinated. He could use a pen, a toothbrush, a paintbrush, so many things. With that little movement, he was able to be more freer, independent, and of course had more dignity. And that inspired me. But it wasn't until I came to Sheffield that I was able to bring the two things that inspire me. One was my degree as an engineer to solve problems. The second was that I only learned to apply my engineering skills when I went to industry, because I didn't have the hands-on learning during the degree. And the final thing was, how can we use those skills in practice and find solutions that are affordable, that are solutions that people can use in the market, not just so expensive that only those who have wealth can use. So that's how I ended up in the UK, having had those learnings in Mexico. I came to the UK to develop my skills, and then accidentally ended up in academia.